Hey, everybody, welcome back to Xi4P Podcast, the show where we talk about comics, mutants, magic, and Marvels week after week through their many monthly titles. I'm Nico, and you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Nico Action. That's NicoAction.
I'm Kevo from Husbands Talking More or Less podcast, and you can find me at Kevo Really, Kevoreally.
Hi, and I'm Rod. You can find me at Rod, on Twitter and Instagram, being ridiculous and loving life.
And being cute too, Rod. Come on. Hey, and it's Nathan. You can find me online on Twitter and Instagram, where I'm usually like getting into some BS somewhere on Dazzler AOA is where you can find me.
Well, if by BS you mean beautiful somethitude, then yes. But I didn't have the S prepared, but I had beautiful, and I was like, oh, it'll come to me. I'll just start talking. What a Dane Whitman thing to do. So we are here to talk about Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade, number 5, by the amazing, by this issue, these two are so tight together. Spurrier and Sergio Davila have this incredible tightness by the end. Of course, inks by Sean Parsons, colors by Arif Frianto, and letters by VC's Corey Pettit, with covers by the unforgettable Iban Coelho. And I want to just start with I am dressed as Kate Bishop, because this issue for us is a celebration, nay, a great day of victory and celebration, because from our first coverage of this, we were like, maybe she's going to be the new Black Knight. And then
yeah, pretty much.
From like the third issue, we were like, maybe not, she's dead. And then last issue, we were kind of like, maybe why not? And
what's happening?
What's happening? It was a really interesting road, but what we got here is an amazing situation where a classic 1960s Silver Age character steeped in the endless mythology that sort of precludes fans from coming in, right? He has now opened his mantle to a new person, a young woman who is a Arthurian expert. So not only will she be able to translate the relevant parts of continuity mid-story in a way that facilitates the idea of a new reader coming in and joining in the mission, but she represents a stripping away of the idea of dynastic male legacy. This was a position that could only be filled by a man. And when I think about most of the sharpshooters in Marvel, almost all of the sharpshooters in Marvel until the 2000s were men. And then we got two brilliant characters in the form of Kate Bishop, and who I would have much rather cosplayed, but that's a whole nother conversation, Lady Bullseye.
Yeah.
I'm just making eye contact with her in case she's watching. I love you. So I fucking love her. Anyway, so I am very excited to talk about this issue because it represents something we all wanted. It represents a major change in the character. And just like Hawkeye took on Kate Bishop and evolved the idea of what it means to be the Marvel sharpshooter, I think we're excited about a new era of Black Knight. This isn't just a new era of the character, but rather it's an exciting, bold era of Marvel opening the idea to newness. Now, before we even get into issue 5, which I am so excited to discuss, but before we even get into it, I want to take a moment to discuss this issue sort of kind of like, in general for a second. How did you guys feel about the idea of what we predicted happening?
It's always nice when you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it too.
It's, it was done in a way, we all expected that to happen, but it was done in a way that was fresh, and it didn't feel like I was like, oh, I knew this was going to happen. I was like, right. Ooh, that's cool, but I knew it was going to happen.
I was probably good.
Okay, I'll go. I was happy that they weren't going to be in a relationship together. that he
Yeah,
turned out to be her
yeah.
daughter. Because that was like, two heterosexuals
do
can't
it.
be in a book without being with each other. It just can't happen. You just can't do it. They just can't.
Well,
The sexual tension.
It's because straight people, from what I understand, it's straight fictional characters are all born with magnetic parts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas gay characters have to mate for life and then die tragically early.
Oh, yeah. And then think about each other the whole time.
The whole
They
time.
are
That's all
related
they
to
can think about.
Mordred, though, so maybe they'll hook up in the future. Ew,
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. They can be related and still have a good time, I guess.
No. We're leaving that.
Yikes.
We're leaving that in the past. That's the past way of thinking.
I hope so.
It's that song from Birdemic.
I was definitely surprised that the relationship was daughter. I didn't see that coming. What precedence is there for this character to have a secret daughter in the comics? Is there any? Who is Ashima? I don't remember. Is that a person that we should know, or is that just this issue all of a sudden?
Are you asking if there is either a specific character in canon, or is it believable that Dane sheathed his sword someplace without any regard for the responsibility it would incur? Yeah, it's not hard for me to believe that Dane Whitman was like, I'm so tortured. Do you want to take away my pain? Or as I once read in a British independent play, sort me out. That's not the way it sounds, but I feel like it's not a hard stretch for me to believe these characters would have that relationship. I could just accept that he has a daughter.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel like there's been moments, I'm assuming, because I didn't read all of his history. There's been moments in Marvel history that we haven't seen him. So he had time to like sleep around and get someone pregnant.
Are you saying there's been moments where Dane Whitman hasn't gotten a whole lot of page time? Heavens no.
I know. It's hard to think about, but I think it's true.
But how old is he? Like, seriously, like she's what? Like, she's doing master's studies. So even if she's like really super smart, she's like in her 20s at least, right? So like he was in his early 20s. We'll say 18 even.
He could be 48.
So, like,
yeah, I want to say probably the magic keeps him young. The magic probably keeps him younger.
Yeah. And, he might just have a really good skin routine.
Yeah, but then that changes like the whole thing with Crystal. Like,
Well, how old was... Well, no, but Crystal likes older dudes. Like Crystal and Quicksilver, Crystal and Black Knight, Crystal and inevitably a member of her own family. So I feel like she's into old... I will take as many shots at the Inhumans as I would like, sir. I read IVX. And it was not a fertility special in any way.
Crystal did get with Human Torch though, so she likes younger a little bit.
Well, and like Quicksilver can't be super old either. He just has gray hair.
Yeah. He's at least
like,
I guess I did that, didn't I? Oh no. But okay, well, fuck. Okay, so he's 48 and it works for me. I'm fine with it.
48.
Because like we just found out that the guy that plays Han in the Fast and Furious movies is 49, and I think he's drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I'm covered, right? So
well, that's okay, because I think the Avengers, like the original Avengers, are like Tony Stark's got to be pushing 50,
right?
Janet Van Dyne's like
Janet Van Dyne has got to be 50 because
easy
in my mind, and it's so specific, but it's really important to me. Like if I were given an opportunity to fix a wrong in the Marvel universe, like if I could zap retcon things, one of the things I would do is I would definitely have made Janet a doctor at the exact same level as, Hank. I would have really dynamically changed that to make them specifically equals and carry their equals vibe. Kevo can tell you, I literally sobbed in the theater when Michelle Pfeiffer stepped onto the screen. That was like one of my biggest moments. It was my favorite. It was my first favorite Avenger, just on screen. It was so great. So, anyway. I have to confess something really specific. I reread it because I read 5 and I was like, was that there the whole time? So then I skimmed 1 through 2 and I was like, I'm going to read it a little bit. And, when you've read something before, it reads a little faster the second time, especially if you're reading for something specific. So it's not like I spent 3 hours of my life doing this. So it wasn't the deepest read, but like, guys, Mordred's plan, I feel like got the least attention of any plot element in this series until this issue, when it was all Mordred's plan all the time. And that would maybe be my one failing of this book. Mordred never should have had a tangible plan. It should have been some battle for the soul of the body in the castle with the fate of the Black Knight at stake. And he could have still done his, I'm going to make everybody around each other kill each other. Like, that's fine. Like, I'm not saying don't do that, but this whole broadcasting narrative, it just felt so Cy Spurrier in so many ways.
It was a little more Doctor Who.
Yeah, exactly.
Than it was Marvel Comics, especially a Marvel hero who is mostly magical in nature.
Yeah. I really loved this miniseries and I really loved the ending. I thought this was a great month for final issues, really making previous issues more worth it, whether it was the conclusion of America Chavez, which was both a bummer and a positive in some ways. The Children of the Atom finale, again, that duality. This was a good month for endings that were sort of bittersweet, whether it's because they didn't give us all the answers or they gave us answers we maybe weren't looking for, but they set a new powerful precedent. I think we can sort of, in many ways, kind of at the plot, because the plot does get a little silly. It gets a little punch 'em up. But I wanted to specifically ask a couple of really important character questions to get us going. We had female heroism in abundance in this issue, whether it was Elsa doing what we all said we knew she would do. It's like he heard our review, and obviously not, because it's obviously completed before issue 1 shipped, but all of a sudden Elsa was in the voice we wanted for her. And, we were so concerned that the new characters that were introduced here were going to be super duper in jeopardy. And I am personally concerned about something. I had been concerned that Jax was going to disappear, right? I had been concerned. I apologize, right? But instead, Jax and Elsa got to play out this super cool female lead action sequence. How did you guys feel about the driving action coming away from this one established figure to not just a new figure in the same lineage, but kind of giving some spotlight to Elsa, who deserves it?
I mean, I thought it was really well written in that kind of aspect. I'm glad that Elsa came back, because we said she was going to, because how could she not? That's not in her nature to leave, especially not for her father. Like, maybe she felt some guilt about her father. Yeah, she even said it. So like, he's a jackass. She's like, it's fine. I don't want to leave someone like another orphan around. I think she said something like that degree. Even though she's technically not an orphan now, because Dan is her dad. Woo. But I'm glad they had that little, woman superhero moment. And I'm glad we got that, they took him down and everything. I appreciate that we got that moment with her, and I'm glad Jax is back, because if she would have stayed dead, then I probably wouldn't have liked this issue.
Agreed. The size of that refrigerator would have irritated me to no end. Now, Nathan, you had been one of the people calling for Jax to have a purpose the most. Kevo, I know you're Chekhov's gunman, but interesting phrase. But Kevo, I guess you're Chekhov's gunman. But Nathan, you were like, Jax has a potential. And not only did we see your predicted potential for her come due, but we saw it come due in sort of a spectacular high fantasy way. How did you feel about the payoff of these last, we'll even say 6 issues, because let's throw in the King in Black special.
For Jax to get a chance to for Jax to actually be able to fulfill the potential that I was hoping that she would, that's amazing. I loved seeing them team. I loved seeing her team up with Elsa. The one plot point that still kind of sticks on me is that Elsa went away and came back, right? So like that's like her going away and coming back, like seems like, I know we mentioned it before in coverage where like you can only have this person as a guest star on this one episode. So like it seemed very much like they were like, oh, we don't want you to be in a featured role. We just want you to be a cameo for this last episode. So like come in and do that. That didn't make any sense, but I love seeing the moments. I love seeing everything come together. I really want to know what Jax's Black Knight suit's going to look like, because that'll be awesome. Hopefully there's no bomber jacket, but you know.
Now, Kevo, this was a thing that you had said you'd be really happy if they did, but you were concerned that they wouldn't commit to. And they did it in a way that I think really subverted our expectations. Instead of, you know, oh, now you have this, I have this other thing. It's much more, we share both things, bro. How do you feel about the duality of this character change? As somebody who's read old Black Knight and the potential for that character to grow into something, who was initially thrown by what you found the character had grown into, how do you feel about this revelation allowing the role of Black Knight to grow?
Especially with the vivid picture that was painted of Dane Whitman being a complete fuck up in the early half of this miniseries. I think getting to see him be able to share his burden with someone is nice. I feel that we were not really given enough development on the character of Jax in terms of being his daughter, and not just their relationship as father and daughter, but her relationship with being an orphan. Or, you know, it's been so long and it's come out over such a period of time that I'm struggling to recall what details of her backstory even were mentioned. I think we've been aware that she is probably going to be of Arthurian lineage for some time, to know that she was going to take the mantle of Black Knight in some way, but we didn't know that she was going to literally be his daughter. And I don't know now how I feel about the character and her development retroactively with this new revelation. I am more excited to get to know her more. I really hope that, you know, she's just really cool and can work through it real well. I think they're both going to be a little bit wary of therapy going forward with the listener app.
Oh,
Can't hear you.
You
I had my Ebony silencer on, and
you picked that one from
it's the one that was
It's
left.
it's the one he needs.
Yeah.
It's what he needs.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things too now where I'm like, what was even my question? No, but I've got it. One of the things that we had said that we were so excited about was the potentiality of perhaps some sort of Black Knight core, perhaps a number of people using a number of the items. I feel like that's very clearly been kind of KO'd for now. That is not what they're doing.
Probably.
It doesn't feel like that was ruled out in any significant way. Now, something I got to mention is it's at least fortunate that while we had meant to record this a little bit sooner, other coverage sort of prevented it. But that means we're able to talk about this following the most recent Eternals Know the trailer. And I cannot believe, for what is rumored to be a 2-minute role in this whole film, they were able to milk so many appearances of Dane Whitman for this 2-minute trailer, which, by the way, so good. So
good.
So good.
Finally, after more than 2 years of giving us nothing on this movie, they gave us everything in the last trailer 3 months before the movie.
It looks so good.
Excited.
And that celestial image. Fuck.
I can't imagine.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that Dane Whitman was only gonna have 2 minutes in the movie? I did not know that.
It's
The
what
rumor.
is speculated.
Rumor.
It's
Okay.
He's not going to
That's
be
weird.
super main feature.
That's the weird. I mean, I didn't think he's gonna be super main feature anyway, but so short, so short.
The
way
rumor
they
is
were
that
talking to him.
yeah, the rumor is
the-
that it's like a back up, kind of like a backdoor thing.
So he'll be in other stuff though. So
Yeah, the way they were talking to him, it made it seem like he was like the keeper of the eternal secret, like the Black Knight.
yeah.
Like I was like, whoa. But yeah, I'm like, yay, Cersei. And then I was like, oh my god, Angelina Jolie's character looked so amazing. I was like,
Everything about it looked so good.
I
Oh,
was
it
like,
and it didn't reek of what I'm really tired of from trailers right now. You know, they didn't slowly play a weird version of Queen's Fat Bottom Girls or something.
That was the
it-
last trailer. That was the last one. Remember, we clicked it by accident and that song
Yeah.
started playing.
we work
You
Call
know.
Me by Blondie. They're like, Call Me.
Yeah.
I would. Oh my god! I want a trailer with a slow maudlin version of Fat Bottom Girls.
Yes.
it
So fucking bad.
it just feels like they're positioning Black Knight to be something new in the Marvel universe, especially new to compare to what he ever was before. With the possibility of something like the Black Knight Corps even remotely being on the table, what do you guys hope that this miniseries yields for the Black Knight mantle? Kind of fuck Dane, but what do you guys hope this yields for the Black Knight as a sellable entity?
I hope more people will be interested in it a little bit more because it's not just like a straight white man into it anymore. You know, you got Jax as a woman of color. Personally, like I kind of said this last time, I kind of wanted him to die. I knew he wasn't going to because he's in the Eternals movie and they're going to use him in the MCU. So of course they're not going to kill him
They
because
kill
then-
Wanda. So.
But yeah, Wanda's going to come back. Wanda's going to come back. We
Wanda
already
has
had
a
vision.
solicit in October for
I know.
Scarlet
Yeah.
Witch, the Darkhold event, and I'm like,
yeah. Like,
Steve
for her.
Orlando, Steve,
Yeah.
Steve, slow up them solicits, boy.
right. But yeah, I think this is gonna get more people into it because not that many people have read Black Knight, especially
I
not
agree.
like newer
Yeah, no,
readers
you're
in
right.
like the past 10 years. Like I don't think anyone really read, unfortunately, this, really good like series as well. So maybe having like a different person, a different character in the role is like, oh, we'll revamp it and everything. If it gets like another series anytime soon.
Well, it's sort of the way people didn't really pay enough attention to Robbie Reyes at first, and Jason
Yeah.
Aaron's Avengers has made him such a superstar that he's appearing in every book now. And
Mhm.
Kushala was sort of a background character over in the
Mhm.
pages of Sorcerer Supremes. Well, Sorcerer Supreme, the Sorcerer Supremes would be very different. And
Oh my god! I want that book.
I want it so bad. Oh,
I want
shit.
that musical group.
Truly. And then she appeared over in the pages of Journey into Mystery, War of the Realms, issues 4 and 5. And she was in her own one shot, and the one shot ended with she's getting her own book in the fall. So we know that characters can sometimes take a little while to build. We know that Marvel will slow simmer a character as long as it takes. Kelly Thompson first gave us Kushala back in 2016. So it is really important to consider 5 years is not an incredibly long time to get a solo series. So a character like Black Knight, for how little his name meant anymore after a while, no offense to Black Knight, it doesn't surprise me that it feels like nobody read this. But I agree. Hopefully someone uses him. He winds up in a good mini series or a good crossover, and he gets a little bit more development. That's what I can hope for. I mean, Nathan, you came to Black Knight for some very specific things, and I feel like you got more from the trailer than you got from this series. But, your precious Malibu Barbie Black Knight, the way he headed over to the Ultraverse, that makes him Malibu Barbie.
It does.
It does. How did you feel about the transformation of the character? We were never critical of the series so much as critical of the interpretation of Dane, because we wanted maybe better for the character despite appreciating the quandary he found himself in. Do you feel, all said and done, after what is essentially 6 issues, counting the King in Black one shot, that Dane has gone on a journey that fits what you came for? Or did you get inside, find out it was a different movie, but stayed anyway because you like the popcorn?
I was kind of like, hey, so yeah, what I would have hoped for and I didn't get was the explanation of what brought him from that point. Like even like New Excalibur, like last run, I remember him having a really big prominent part of, to now. I mean, I know some my appearances have happened, but like nothing really explained what changed him from the competent hero. He was curmudgeon-y and
But
kind of
we just read
weird,
him in that Spider-Man miniseries you recommended
Yes.
that I enjoyed so much. We
Yes.
just read him being so competent in
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
1986.
and Monica Rambeau, no.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. But yeah, I would have loved an explanation as to why. But I didn't get it. I still liked the supporting characters and like the end result, and the special effects were good. I kind of just like forgive it, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll watch the sequel.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Kevo, one of the things that I know you had a real hard time with was, but why should I care? Right? Like, you know, you have no problem with Arthurian stuff. You don't mind the recycling of stories, but it was give me a reason to care. 5 issues in, plus you went back and you read the King in Black one shot with me. How do you feel? Were you given a reason ultimately to care, or do you find yourself having covered 6 issues because your husband asked you to cover 6 issues?
No, that's not why I covered it. But yeah, no, I don't feel that I've been given a reason to care. I feel that I have witnessed a really cool and interesting relaunch and reimagining of this superhero. I still don't understand to what end, and don't feel I have been given a reason to care. This is I'm really it's cool that they are, for a character who so much of his mythology and mythos is about him taking this burden alone. I really appreciate the mental health positive perspective of making this a burden that he shares, and that's really cool.
And he
I
shares
still
with
don't
family.
understand why I still don't understand why we should care about Black Knight, or what his significance to the overall narrative of the Marvel Universe is, or what his significance to the MCU could be, that they are introducing him through Kit Harington, who is not a small actor. So
No.
obviously they are going to want to do things with this character. And I don't really know or see how there is a connection between all of this stuff and anything we know about this person they are introducing in the Eternals, of all places. And who knows, with so many things. There was just a report today that Riri for Ironheart is actually going to be introduced in Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther sequel.
Mhm.
Ahead of her own TV show.
Yeah.
So I who knows where they might be going with Kit Harington's Dane Whitman. I would want to kick that to you and put that question to you as, you know, my co-MCU anchor and my co-Black Knight anchor. If you have any thoughts on the combination of this comic arc and anything that we know and have seen about the character of Dane Whitman in the MCU, and everything we know about the direction the MCU is going, how do you feel that this connects, or that this might have anything to do with the introduction of Black Knight as a superhero? Or maybe they're just having Dane Whitman be a random background character and he's going to have nothing to do with anything. Who knows? Who knows?
I think that I had initially thought to myself, this would be the relaunch point for Dane, and they might build something big up for him. What I now more appropriately believe is likely to happen is that Dane Whitman at this point is being given consistent comics to have a reliable library for people to buy trades for if they enjoy Eternals and they go on a deep Google foo. However, I do think the bigger thing is going to be that something we understand about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that it's a highly transitive idea. It transforms as needed, sometimes up to the end of filming, and sometimes post is a bitch. And I think what Black Knight is going to be in the films is not yet finalized. And as far as his film is not set, it has not been filmed. Whatever he is in Eternals is not going to bind him in his own film by any stretch of the imagination. So I wonder if this is a way to get the Lady Black Knight on the page using a relatively big name for comics. And they'll worry about what his tone needs to be closer to his series. But now she's here, and if the movies want to use her, she's there, and Jax is available. I think Kit Harington is a little too young to have a fully grown lass, but perhaps he can have like a 16-year-old daughter or something. You know, I don't know, but I do believe this.
You mean Kate Harington isn't 48 years old?
Oh darn.
34.
No, he should not have a 16-year-old. I don't want it.
No,
no, 18.
no,
No,
that's too
that could be an
young.
erstwhile
Yeah.
daughter that he didn't realize, you know, just a little too much fun in the back seat of his, what do British people
he had
drive?
a,
Aston Martins.
He had a little Fault in Our Stars affair with some girl when he was 16.
God.
And yeah, I don't know how I feel about that being part of this girl's origin either.
Oh god, that was awful.
So here's my take. Here's my walk away.
He's 5'8". What?
That's so hot on his cute little body. He's a good looking man. Here's my take on the whole thing. I enjoy the Black Knight a bunch, but I believe, much like his sword, he's kind of a relic of a bygone era. I don't know that he has too much relevance in the Marvel Universe today, but if he did have relevance in the Marvel Universe today, he would have a number of teams to pick from. Black Knight has a long history with Captain Britain and even appeared in the pages of New Excalibur, giving him some rough ties to the X-Men universe, not to mention the time that was spent in the pages of Captain Britain and MI13, yet another X-Men adjacent, if not, truly X-Mensian book. Of course, he is well known for his time in the Avengers, time spent alongside the Eternals, and there have been, I think, at least 2 iterations of the Defenders with Black Knight, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
He shows up in the original one and one of the other ones.
Yeah. So that gives us at least 4 teams that could bear the brunt of the Ebony Blade and the Ebony Bladestress. So my question for you guys becomes, where do you see Dane fitting in the comics going forward? We know that there's a big Merlin thing going on in the pages of Excalibur. We know that Otherworld has been at play. We understand that Avengers is moving to a more open world Avengers idea where Avengers can be, we see Black Knight being an Avenger in other titles, maybe not in Aaron's Avengers, but in background capacities in other books. Where do you think he belongs going forward? For my money, I would just keep him an ancillary Avenger. He's not a front and center guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, real quick, movie wise, I think they're trying to move him towards the Avengers. I know that's not what you asked, but movie wise, I think they're trying to move him towards the Avengers.
Probably. Yeah.
They're if you look at it, there's a very certain era of characters that are kind of popping up, like Vision right now being in the White Vision form, Cersei also too in the Eternals. So I think you can, with the way you can't keep the actors because of the pay, I think you've got to kind of keep it rotating. But comic wise, let's see. I would love the Avengers to be more like they were back during Uncanny Avengers, New Avengers, all of that stuff, where you had even with X-Men teams, you had X-Men, Astonishing X-Men was a team that showed up in everybody.
Then tell Gamma Flight to stop being so fucking compelling so that it's not doing the job of all of the other goddamn Avengers titles, because that book is so fucking compelling every month.
Oh my God.
Good.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, without a doubt. I didn't think it was gonna be better than Immortal Hulk, but
It's really good.
it is at least as good as Immortal Hulk,
At
which
least,
I love. But I think I do like that idea of a Avengers world kind of thing, where you've got Jan shows up and she's got Dane with her, and then maybe Thunderstrike somehow. I don't know. Whatever. But like,
I want to go there.
that kind of. Give me Photon, and it's like the perfect Avengers. So Spectrum. That's what you call her now.
Oh
Why
yeah.
would you call her
Captain
Queen?
Marvel.
I don't know where I want him, honestly. I was trying to think while Nathan was talking, but I mean,
It's hard sometimes.
I mean, I guess to just make another Avengers team and put him on it. Just make another like West Coast, not another West Coast, because there's already a West Coast. And I don't feel like he would go good with the current West Coast.
UK
I guess
coast. What's a beach in the UK? Like Brighton Beach? No,
But see,
that's
I was I was gonna say UK, but UK is like having such a disagreement with mutants right now. I feel like he'd be caught up in that, and I don't really want him in it though.
but I
Like,
mean,
I
if,
don't-
join the
I don't know.
Union.
if he could take because Britannia is dead,
Yep.
so they could
Yep.
use it's a lot on Union Jack because he's not even the good Union Jack, the one who was with
No.
Spitfire,
No.
who one day Paul Cornell was like, she's a total vampire, and everybody was like, that's not how Spitfire works, and he was like, she's a vampire now, and everybody was like,
I love that.
all right, and now everybody's like, no, she's just like that, we're keeping it Paul Cornell, and he's like, I told you guys. That's my interpretation of how Spitfire went from like Dampire to vampire.
I am interested to see where all this Britishness is going because we have the Union, we got Black Knight. I guess it's all maybe going to Excalibur with the mutant thing, maybe like a clash, a British against mutants, little mini event in just Excalibur. I'm not sure. That would be kind of cool though.
I would love another Marvel UK sub-imprint event like we got with Revolutionary War, like we got with
The
Mistech.
stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, I would really love to. I mean, that's one of my happy places as a comic book fan. So and it's obscure, and Death's Head. We got that amazing Death's Head mini 2 years ago.
really
That was
good.
so good.
I
Oh my
love
god.
that.
You know,
That was
as
really
somebody
good.
who's a big Death's Head guy, and then all of a sudden like Death's Head 5, and I was just like so enamored of it. If I could just get like Death's Head and Mojo in the same book competing for mutant girl
Oh my
superiority,
God. That
right?
would be
That
so
would be
awesome.
fun.
But guys, oh wait, no, Kevo, you don't read Marvel comics as regularly or with as much investment. So I understand your vote is in many ways as good as a random number generator, but yours is a random number generator I keep close to my heart. So for your choice, do you think he should go with the X-Men, the Avengers, the Defenders, the Eternals, or I don't have any others. Those.
Fantastic Four.
Oh God.
Why
Might
not?
as well. Might as well.
Set him
I
on
don't
fire. He's
know.
the Human Torch.
Okay. Okay, fire.
That's
right.
okay. Well, there is no better way to end this episode than we hope that somebody sets the Black Knight on fire.
He does, so I might as well. Oh, the
Yeah.
only other thing I wanted to say is I thought he might die and become the ghost guide to Herbie.
Oh, that would be fun.
See,
The new
that would've been
Uncle
great.
Percy.
That
I'm
would've
just
been
as happy
great.
with him not being dead because, after Listener being a really weird,
He's so
toxic
annoying.
take on that sort of anxiety app,
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they didn't kill the guy who was super suicidal in the
Ah,
end.
that's true.
That was pretty okay.
That's
I'm
true.
pretty cool with that.
One more last thing I wanted to say real quick. I thought the coolest thing in this most bizarre and most comic booky thing ever was when he popped out of the evil guy's body and just became born again.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, okay, cool.
He is born
That's-
again.
I know. I was like, that's one way to bring him back. I want that to happen in the
is.
movies somehow.
I just hope Jax learns how to clone horses better than Dane. Like,
And I hope she does something to make that chair less ugly. It's fucking hideous, Dane.
It's
It is
so
so
bad.
You did.
Guys, but can we just talk about how inappropriate it was that he showed his daughter his Percy?
Get out.
Nico's banned.
Oh,
He's banned.
Hey, no.
Just for that, you don't get black cherry ice cream.
Oh,
Wait, do we have
I want
that?
black cherry.
I
ice
want
cream.
black
Yeah, we
cherry ice
have
cream.
that.
Oh, I thought
Can't
we had.
remember
I
because
thought we
it's
had
been-
coffee ice cream.
I'll take
Anyway,
Nico's
We have
piece.
both.
This has been Black Knight, Curse of the Black Cherry ice cream, and I'm gonna go have some ice cream that I don't deserve after that joke.
No, I'm taking
Oh.
the ice cream.
Fine, Rod. We'll go to the store and get some. Jeez.
Hey guys, if you like that cut from X's4 Podcast, you'll be sure to like some of our other materials. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out these other amazing videos here at X's4 Podcast.